Hey Brickmaniacs, welcome back to another Designer Studio episode. We got an Anzac Week special double down here. As you can see, Dan is back in the studio, so we finally get a chance to look at both of these completed builds. We've got the Aussie Abrams, as well as the NZLAV, and then a couple of loose minifigures as well to take a little closer look at. This is kind of a collection that we haven't explored a ton in the past. We've done some stuff previously, but this is definitely some much awaited modern vehicles. So like you were saying, the Abrams came out first, so we'll start with this one. Definitely a unique color scheme, and then obviously we've got some cool custom elements here. So why don't you take us through the process of exactly how we came up with this?
Sure. So this is the M1A1 Abrams. It doesn't have the Commander's thermal optics, the separate optic system. So it is the older Abrams. It's the Abrams still used by the Army and the Marines, the United States Army and the Marines, but it's not it's an M1A1. So we should just go over that. They're cheaper to manufacture, easier to maintain.
Sure.
And of course, if you're building an army, you're going to go with cheaper and faster, cheaper
More
and
widely
easier.
available.
Yeah. So and of course, being that you're in Australia, this is ideally suited for that open country of Australia. Perfect desert fighting vehicle.
Turn and burn across the outback, quite literally.
Right, yeah. So this color scheme, it's such a everything in Australia, all of the military vehicles have this sort of Australian pattern.
It's super unique. It's really cool looking.
And it looks great with what is this? This is olive, dark tan and black. It's a great camo scheme. I love making this thing. And it is essentially a gutting and rebuilding of our previous Abrams. So if you're a fan of the previous Abrams that we released, you're going to love this one. The only thing that's really different, obviously besides the color, it does have the working suspension.
Yeah.
So that's a completely new feature. The other thing,
it's fully printed.
yeah. There's lots of cool printing on all this thing. The back compartment does open up too, and you can take the engine compartment.
Nice.
Opens up so you can see the engine. But yeah, you do have the engine. It's a little bit updated from previous versions. That was like the last edition. Every time we make a new model, and if it's something that we've done before, we definitely like to take it the next step. So it does have that removable engine compartment. Does come with two figures, so you do it two. Since it's probably going to be a long time before we make another Australian tank, so we might as well have both figures come with it.
Have the crew for the hatches, yeah.
So you do get two figures, and they are unique. They're not like it's not two of the same. It's two different figures. I love the printing on the helmet. That's such a nice touch.
There's a lot of cool printing with this whole thing.
Right. We had to throw in a couple of Easter eggs as per usual. This one is actually the Bricktoria bitter case.
Which, if you remember the previous, what was it be? 2019 Abrams or whatever, maybe even before that came with stud light. Exactly. So kind of a harken back to that, which is cool.
Absolutely.
So, and then actually next to this minifigure, this is the standalone modern Australian rifleman that you were able to pre-order with this, and then we had a couple left standalone available on release day.
I want to know who didn't buy the extra figure.
Most people did.
Yeah,
most people did.
I think we just had a few figures left over that didn't make it out to our retail store.
But definitely a unique one there with that awesome perfect caliber, and then obviously the custom created and custom printed fast helmet. So that's definitely cool to see. One of those figures that you just don't see a ton of them out there because it's not something that people are widely producing. So
no, that's a new helmet. There's a lot going on. We've made a lot of new features on this. So if you do see these things come up and they come up in production, hop on them while you can because we're not going to make them very often. And they're definitely the figures, the gear is unique to this kit and this figure. So. Don't take it for granted that it's going to be available separately or even for very long. So don't delay if you're thinking about
get your hands on them. Yeah, definitely do.
We're about to launch into the biggest onslaught of new Brickmania kit releases. So you're going to see a lot less restocks coming out in the near future. So just giving you warning. So I think are there any left? Did we end up having any left over from the first batch? Are they all gone?
I think they might be gone already.
So
I think there's still some of these left, but I think these are gone.
Yeah, it was definitely popular, and I enjoyed working on it. It was really fun to do a different pattern than we're used to. And it has all the stowage. It's a little bit more unique. The M1A1 is a little bit different from the M1A2, so it's not just like a dumbed down version of our previous tank. It is a lot. There's a lot going on that's different.
The turret is just absolutely massive.
yeah. Well, that's when you have all the ammunition in the turret, so they have to have that huge bustle, and then you have to have room for your essential
Absolutely.
supplies.
Refreshments.
Yeah.
Refreshments, no doubt. So this is the one where you guys really decided that you were going to go after this super detailed barrel, right?
Right. Well, part of the reason for that is Lego does not provide us with very many dark tan round pieces.
Yeah, sure.
So it's like, well, let's just do our own barrel, and we've been wanting to do it for a while. And I should also point out that we cannot make parts in our 3D printed that match the Lego light tan, the regular tan.
Sure.
So that's why we're not like, hey, let's just make a barrel that you can replace your
Sure.
old Abrams barrel, because we can't do it. We don't. Color matching is a difficult science.
It's a battle for sure.
Yeah, right. And then we're using pre-existing resins, and then we can tint them, we can do things, but we can't. That's just a bridge too far right now. So it's unique to this kit. It was great to do it. Camera guy, the guy operating the camera actually came up with this whole system. It's a cool little addition that we rolled out for this one. So in future, I think we did the same thing. There's the NATO camouflage.
Abrams, yep.
Yep, we were able to do it for that one as well. So that's coming. That's the M1A2. So that I believe is also currently for sale.
Yes.
I don't know if there's any available from the first batches, but yeah, that's another.
If you want to get
nice
your
one.
hands on those. No, and that's an interesting point to make too, because when you think about, people who've been around Brickmania for a while, you guys have seen literally in just the past handful of years how far that 3D printing capabilities, the technology has come, and just what we've been able to do with it. But at the same time, like, literally every year, sometimes month to month, you have new innovations where it's like, well, we're figuring this out in about 8 days. It's what we're trying to do before it's time to get to see if we can actually do it. So the process moves quick.
The development happens, but certain things like that color matching, even just to get to these colors that we have now, that was months of trial and error, and it's a learning process. There's no rule book. There's no guide. Hey, you do this, you do that. We're making this up as we go along. So it's cutting edge technology, taking advantage of it as best we can.
Yeah, no, and it definitely adds a lot too. I think that there's definitely a group of people out there who, you can appreciate the brick built aesthetic using the original system, but then when you really want to have something, I mean, you're already using the brick arms and everything else to try to capture, that next level of detail.
Not to mention the Brickmania track links.
The track links, exactly. All of that kind of stuff that kind of makes it its unique self, and then when you add in all the printing, it's like, that's just another level that really makes people, stop and be like, holy smokes, this is put together with bricks,
Right.
So that's really cool. And the fact that it's buildable, I think, is awesome as well.
Yeah.
That's not something that you see too terribly often when it comes to custom elements, so that's pretty sweet.
And that is one difference between this and our last Abrams. The last Abrams, we intentionally went back to the Lego conveyor belt links, so those wide links, and we stopped it. We reverted back to our track link system for this one, and it's because those new V3 track links.
They're awesome.
They roll so much better. They're much more reliable.
Yeah, they are awesome.
Yeah, look at that. It actually runs until it doesn't.
Well, when it binds up on the
I know.
thing a little bit, but yeah, it's nice and smooth. There's no problems there, that's for sure. So, and the whole thing, I mean, with the suspension and everything, I mean, it is an absolute brick, a sturdy model. When I picked it up this morning from the GHQ, it was the first time I got to see it totally done, and I was like, holy smokes, this thing is like super, super solid, ready to be manhandled. So, like you said, cruise through the Outback. It's ready for whatever anybody can throw at Australia, which is cool to see. So that's the Aussie Abrams here, but we also have the NZLAV, which is a really cool looking kit. You can see here that we've got the standalone New Zealand modern rifleman as well, who is holding what is included with the kit, which is a Brickmania box cover of the Bob Semple tank, which, if you guys know, was a wasn't it April Fool's, but not really April Fool's?
Yeah,
it was just around that or something.
We did it. I mean, it was in the spirit of the old mouse jokes.
Exactly.
We're going to release the Bob Semple tank. Surprise! We actually released it.
The pillbox around a tractor.
The original New Zealand armored vehicle, the native New Zealand armored vehicle. So you get a bonus.
Yeah,
Bob
and
Semple.
that comes with the kit, by the way, not the standalone figure, but you can upgrade to get the standalone figure.
And the standalone figure comes with that Mars L rifle.
Yep.
Manufactured in Iowa of all places.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's so weird.
So we actually had some interaction with the guys who work on who designed that rifle. They sent us some pictures of it, and it was pretty neat that they approved of us making their rifle.
Some little ones heading their way.
Right, and we thought this was something made overseas, but no, it's made in Iowa.
Turns out it's
our neighbors
right in our backyard. Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. But this is an awesome kit. I love to see the printing up here. Obviously this entire turret design is like crazy because there's so much stuff going in so various directions. We've got the debut, I believe it's the debut of that the Bushmaster barrel, and then a whole bunch of other stuff going on. You were telling me something interesting about why the yellow was on here when you were talking about it on the sit rep. So can you go over that again?
So these, New Zealand, it's not a land of a whole lot of military action going on. So they actually make these vehicles as emergency response vehicles as well. So if there's a natural disaster, typhoon or whatever, I don't know, storm or earthquake or something, they will actually bring out the military vehicles. And these placards are just to warn.
Don't step in front of this. Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's basically there's this big hulking camouflage thing that you may or may not see driving down the road.
Sure. Okay.
So let's put these big yellow placards on it to warn other vehicles to keep clear, because there is all sorts of equipment hanging off the side of this thing, and you definitely don't want to drive your car into an 8-wheeled armored vehicle. No,
you're going to lose that one 10 out of 10 times for sure.
Yeah. So the LAV itself is the same vehicle as the American Striker.
Right.
It's the LAV-3. The only difference is this turret is from the LAV-25 that the Marines use.
Okay.
So it's kind of a hybrid between the Army Striker,
mashup almost.
Yeah, and then the Marine Corps LAV-25. So a 25 millimeter Bushmaster, same gun that's on the Bradley. This turret actually has an extra armor kit that I don't know if that's unique to the New Zealand. I've never seen it before until I worked on this. So you do have these printed panels on the side.
Which those look so good.
So there's a little windshield add-on for the driver. So the driver can prop his hatch open to get a little bit more ventilation and better vision. But if it's raining or something, you're going to get all that moisture in your face. So there's a little windshield add-on.
Interesting.
So that's why there's a printed panel up here. The kit itself, it does have some cool features. You do have the winch. There's a cable winch. You get this cool, unique tool to access the you put the ramp down in the back of the vehicle. You can access all the workings on the inside. So you have access to the. We'll just take that door off. You don't need it. Actually, it's a ramp, not a door. But you can turn the steering using this special tool. So you can see the wheels go. You can drive it around this way. You get that feature. And then you can also use this. There's a second position for the powering the winch. So let's just say you pull the cable out. You have to get it spooled.
Reel it back up.
There's a cable spool built inside the vehicle itself here. So
that's awesome.
This thing all back together.
I didn't even realize the mounted brick arms on here is a perfect caliber as well. So you're just loaded in printing on this.
Oh, absolutely. You got the M240 on the top there. So yeah, there's printed pieces. You got the little the viewports on the front, and you actually get the L&B soda.
Yeah.
So whereas the Aussies are happily drinking beer, we have the teetotaling the New Zealanders are drinking soda. It's a unique soda. So if you're from New Zealand, you'll know all about the L&P, but it's the L&B in this case.
More of those awesome Easter eggs.
And then you do have, of course, your two unique figures.
Which once again, love the printing on those custom elements for the helmets. It just really makes them pop and adds that detail.
And you may recognize this actor from certain.
Oh, that's right.
Certain intergalactic star thriller movies.
That's right. That's funny.
So a famous New Zealand actor was our model. Coincidental.
Who else would you choose?
Right.
I mean, come on. Oh, that's awesome. It's either that or some sort of Lord of the Rings pun, right?
So right. So, yeah, we were like, the Lord of the Rings. We didn't provide any hobbits. I'm sorry.
It's all right. Next time we visit New Zealand, we can be a little more tongue in cheek about it there.
Yeah, right.
So, but that's awesome. I mean, both of these things, despite the difference in camos too, they look fantastic.
You've got lots of play features, lots of opening hatches, lots of there's the ramp has a hatch in the ramp. So I mean, it's just like goofy, fun stuff like that. This, for the Canadians out there, yes, this is the same vehicle as the Canadian LAV. There will be a Canadian kit in the future. So
yeah.
I mean, if you can't wait, of course you can get this one. There's probably a few left online. Go ahead and get it, because I don't know when we're going to get around to the Canadian version. But it is the same. It is the same. I think they call it the Kodiak in Canada.
It's kind of like all of these realms that we visit a little bit, sparsely. You can't just do them all at once or all in a month or something like that. So, but it is nice to know that when you see the design of something that your country has in actual service, it means that we're closer than we've ever been to be able to do something like that. We just got to make sure it's all spaced out. So, which I think people who are familiar with the Brickmania program know that that's kind of the way it works.
Might be like the Queen's birthday.
Right.
The King's birthday. We'll release,
As is tradition.
Yes.
Cool.
All right. Well, anything else you want to?
I don't think so. No, that's awesome. Cool little double down to get back into the whole designer studio flow of things. And obviously Anzac Day this week, on Tuesday of this week. So we were able to kind of put these things together and figured it'd be a good way to return now that Dan is back in studio. So we'll have more to come around the corner. So go ahead and keep tuning into this channel and checking out a little bit more in-depth breakdowns. Once again, here on the Designer Studio, we always look at the completed models so you don't have to worry about just seeing the prototypes like we do for the sit reps as well, even though those are awesome for giving you an insight on exactly what's coming. So Dan, thanks for joining me, and thank you guys very much for watching.